Hey guys, what is up? How is everyone doing? My name is Joey Ramos, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Sacha Kaluri, and she's an international motivational speaker, a TV radio podcast host, and author of The Two Worlds of Your Teenager. Here she is, guys. Say hello to Sacha. How are you, Sacha? She's also a good friend of mine. She's a very good friend of mine. So, how are you?
I'm so glad to be here. Like across the world, you guys have got so much going on in your country right now. Like I'm following everything that's going on with this election. I'm loving it.
So, guys, Sacha is from Australia. So, what time is it right now over there?
Time is 10:10 in the morning.
So it's morning. It is. So you're on a Wednesday. Yeah, you're in the future.
I'm the 5th of November.
I am. Where am I? I am 5 p.m. here. 5:10 p.m. here. What is up, guys? What is up, Lenai, Mark Zilla? How are you? How are you? Okay, so Sacha, I have a bunch of questions for you.
Tell me.
So
I'm an open book. Tell me.
Let's just go right into it. So, okay. You're an international motivational speaker, so you motivate people. How do you do this? Like, what's your approach in motivating people? Is it through like talks or through like speeches, or how does that look like for you?
So my passion in life is teenagers. So the main people that I work with is teenagers. So I've been able to, I work all around Australia, America, and also get to go to New Zealand as well. So I'm really lucky and I'm really passionate. My main thing that I'm really passionate about is making sure that teenagers get to have the career of their dreams. So how is it that you get to know yourself to figure out what direction in life you want to go to? So that's my biggest passion in life. And I'm 45 and I've been doing this for 23 years.
Really? Wow. So you've been working specifically with teenagers?
Yeah, I get to work with corporate companies and I get to work with lots of different people, but if I was going to choose my passion of where I love, it's teenagers. So I probably do 150 schools a year right across Australia or America. So last year I was in America 5 times.
Wow. And do you listen to like like their stories, like what they're going through, their struggles and stuff like that?
I do. I just think that the reason I love teenagers so much is because life hasn't put the lid on you and said to you, you know, you can't do what it is that you want to do. So I'm really big on self-development, Joey, really, really big. I think the number one thing in life that you need to be able to do is to get to know yourself. Who are you? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you scared? What pushes you over the edge to stop being scared? What forces you out of your comfort zone? You know, all of these little things. This is you. This is inside of you telling you who you are. So you need to figure that stuff out and know it and then kind of navigate yourself through that. And so I'm all about, I have no judgment on what those answers to those questions are. So I'm just about thinking to myself, what is it that makes you, lights you up when you talk about this conversation? You know, what is it that you watch on YouTube till 3 o'clock in the morning? What is it that when you go to a library, you instantly go to that section? What is it that when you turn on, what kind of books do you read? What is it? And all of these little things are ingredients that make up you. And once you start to get to know them, you start to see a pattern. And then that actually leads you into say, well, I've actually got this passion about something. And then I can then lead myself in that direction to then turn it into a career. That's what I'm after. Because I mean, you know, 70% of Australians get up to go to a job every day that they don't like. That's a lot of people. And if you imagine you go to those, you know, and that's just Australia, right? I mean, America must have way, way more. And so imagine if you do that job for a week or a year or 5 years, what are the consequences of that? So there's anxiety, depression, you know, anger, all of those kind of things. People are on, you know, there's drug addiction and all of those kind of things can happen because you're just constantly doing something that you don't like. So I'm actually saying rather than waking up and having this midlife crisis and saying, what do I want to do? Let's just start asking that question right when you're at the point of choosing direction you want to go into.
Which is what is the question? What are you passionate about?
What is it that you like to do? That not about a career. So because once you figure yourself out, the money and the career will follow. You've just got to figure it out.
So guys, everyone who's listening right now in the chat, write down or maybe share if you want to share. What is something you're really passionate about? Like while we're talking, I want to see some comments of something that you're passionate about, something that you really like to do. Okay.
So
yeah, continue.
So for example, what you're doing is incredible. Like, you're teaching people. I think that, I'm 100% fully supportive of what you do because you're going,
thank you so much. I really, truly feel that from you because, yeah.
Oh, I do. Like, I'm your number one fan. I'm your number one. Like, I'm like there. I think that what you're doing and what you're doing is, I'm also big on finding your tribe. Okay. Because everybody has a niche. Like, when you start to delve into and figure out who you are, you can actually get to a very cool lowest common denominator. And you say to yourself, well, what is it that I like? Well, I've got this thing where I want to make toys come alive and I want to make videos about it. Now, there's not that many people in the world, well, there probably are, that want to do that. But what you're doing is you're saying my niche is so important that I want to focus on it. And then I'm going to bring other people from around the world that want to do that. And then before you know it, you then start to be free because you can talk about it. Like when I've seen you do your work and I think that you're incredible the way that you work. And so finding your tribe and bringing all of these people together that have the same common interest. The point is, Joey, is to be free, to actually feel like you can be creative and laugh and have fun and enjoy it. And doing that makes you feel good. Then it leads you to go, I'm going to push myself to do even further and develop that skill even more. And my videos get even better and better and better and all of that stuff. And before you know it, it becomes a career for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that back before, you can't do anything else. The thing that I really love is planting plants. Absolutely. You need to bring more of that. I'm saying life is way too short to not bring more of that stuff into your life. So if you like planting plants, that's your thing, right? Figure out how you can bring more of that into your life. How do you then become and be able to get that and turn that into a career? Do that love it more and more and more. I love creating movies and series. Start to do that. And what you're actually doing is, the other thing is that you're actually starting to create your online brand. So for example, Fred here, I'm assuming Fred's a young person being able to do this. So by the time he actually gets out into the workforce, he will already have this incredible amount of stuff that he can show people. So when he goes out there, he can say to people, I'm interested in making movies. This is what I've already done. I've already got a showcase. I've already got a brand of something that I can choose to be able to do. Doesn't mean you have to go down that field and that's what he does for the rest of his life. But, he might be able to take that skill of what he's learned here and then actually be able to, use it into his other world. I like playing games and stuff, and I've learned the film stuff from Fred and Joey. Playing games. I've been working with a young person, and that's a gamer, and he gets paid. So I'm in Melbourne, but he gets paid to fly to Sydney. This was pre-COVID. Fly to Sydney, and he would get put up in this hotel, and then all he would have to do is sit on a stage and play games all day on a stage, and he would get paid $1,000 a day, and he's 19.
That's insane. That's crazy. But he's doing what he loves. That's his passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what you're trying to say is that when you do what you're passionate about, your career follows that,
Absolutely.
And it can.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't follow it straight away, it doesn't matter. It just means that you're on that journey and you're just bringing more and more things into your life that make you happy.
So question on just even right now in this whole quarantine time that we've been through, has it been harder on teenagers? Have you noticed what's been your take on just harder in the sense where all the confusion with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and all that, just the different like changes in the economy. Um, do you feel like people are struggling and finding their passion, or how have you been able to help them in, I guess, in your work
Well,
or in your motivation?
I think there's two things. Some of us have either been, because we've been locked down for so long, we've started to, have to find things that make us happy, because it's been
Good
really
point.
tough on all of us.
Yeah.
So you have to, you start to then find what kind of, because there's only so much Netflix that you can watch. Like, of course at the start I was watching Netflix, and then I'm bored. I'm like, I want something more. So there's an innate thing inside of us that says, I want something more. Or then you start to follow things on YouTube and you think, I want to build that thing that I'm watching, or I want to create that or do that, and whatever it might be. So all of a sudden we're delving into passions that we might not have even known to be able to exist. But the other thing, absolutely, it's been tough on young people because they've missed out on so many things that they would have normally got to experience. So, for example, this might have been the first thing that
So Lena Studio says, I'm a teenager, and yeah, people do actually get stressed out.
And also what I think is that people need to realize is that, like, you're seeing my life in this one instance, but there's so much more to that. Every single person in their life has had a crisis right now. Every family's had, breakdowns and yelling and fighting and issues and not coping with things. Like, there's not one family that you can say, no, we're perfect. We just get along so well. We love being locked up in the house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together. It's just amazing. Yeah. Everyone's been pushed to the end. And so I think that especially with schooling, it's really hard to concentrate for young people, because you might be in one room, but how do I know that you're not, your parents haven't lost their jobs, and then you're financially struggling. So at the outside of this, you've got your parents that are actually, having some issues. You might have other brothers and sisters that are trying to study in other rooms and nobody's being quiet. It's a lot.
I really think it's a good time to even talk about this, like what your passions are and what you like to do, because I feel like so much is changing that we need to adapt to change, but at the same time we need to adapt and actually follow what we're meant to be doing, like our career or just new opportunities that are emerging, and even in the midst of all of this like craziness. So I really do think these talks are super helpful to have.
And you know what, Joey? Industries have been created that you
Literally.
wouldn't even, because we're so bored that we're forced to be creative. So, for example, I would never have found you if we didn't have COVID.
Through a live stream, yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, because you wouldn't have had so much time and opportunities to be able to do this. We'd all be going out and focusing on doing other work and doing these things. So I actually think that it's brought the world actually much closer together, because, I've got no way of socializing. So if I'm going to socialize with my friend online, well, I might as well make a new friend, because it's the same interaction. So I think that people have really, and I think that even though people haven't met each other, I think that people have made really good relationships in this space.
Yeah, I think too. And I think, and I wanted to ask you, you do also like business work, or what does that look like for you? Is it like helping entrepreneurs, or is it motivational business?
So I do a whole range of different things. So one of the things is, I teach businesses more about networking skills and presentation skills, how to, more or less younger people as well. So, for example, organisations that hire lots of people under 30.
Interesting, cool.
So I get to work with them because, I figure I'm 45. I still don't feel like I've grown up much, really, in my mind. Yeah. I'm sure you probably think when you follow me on Insta, you'll go, this mum's nuts. Like, she's not grown up that much at all. I just figure I have all the responsibilities, but in my mind, I still feel like I'm 18 years old. But I think that what I really want to be able to do is, when I work with corporate companies, it's all about teaching them how to network, how to get their public speaking up, how to put themselves forward, how to brand themselves, how to create the right environment for themselves to be able to make sure they go forward, and then that they get to speak their own mind. I'm all about, my number one quality is, my number one thing that I love is making sure that people feel good about themselves. Because when you feel good, Joey, you do good things. You're a better person in the world. You make a difference in the world. You make other people feel good. That's what I'm all about. And when you're feeling low, that's when you're projecting that negativity on yourself. So I don't want that. I want you to feel good, and I want you to do what it is that you want, that makes you happy in your life. But I mean, we also need to understand, don't think that, and I think that sometimes young people get confused. Don't think that once you find this, it's going to get handed to you on a silver platter. You have to work. You have to do what it takes to get to where you want to be. So, for example, if you say to yourself, well, I've figured out I want to make horror movies with toys, or, nobody's going to come up to you and say, hey, I've got this amazing opportunity. I'm with Universal. I want you to make the next, You have to do what it takes to get to where you want to be. Like, you have to put in the hard work. Yeah. You have to do all of that stuff. I think that people get a little bit confused and think that I figured out what I want to do and it's going to get handed to me. That's not how it's going to work at all.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. And then you said something about building the right environment. As I get older, I'm realizing that's super important. Like just community, the right friendships, the right people, the right type of people who pour into you, but then you pour into them. Yeah. What are some strategies?
Build your tribe. Build your tribe. I can't say that enough. Be around people that make you feel free, that make you feel like, yes, you've got your purpose is absolutely right. That you love being around them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are some things that you recommend for people to build their tribe and create that environment for success?
Well, just like what you've been doing. You've brought all these kids from around the world, and that's their tribe, because they would probably go out into the other parts of the world and not be able to talk about the very things that you let them be free to be able to passionately speak about. So you build your tribe in however you need to build your tribe, because every one of us is quirky. Every one of us has got something that you kind of go, I have a special interest in this, or I find that particularly interesting. And then you get other people who go, are you kidding me? You find that interesting. Well, I'm not here to judge you. We have 7 billion people in the world. Let you be free to, as long as you're doing good in the world, as long as you're making other people feel good, bring everyone together and support everybody. And if you see somebody that's a little bit different, well, then they're not going to. You don't need them in your tribe, but you build your own stuff. Because the more we have people that we feel good about ourselves, the more we'll develop that.
Yeah. So guys, just so you know, you can definitely ask questions. So as we're talking, if you guys have any questions, I'll be looking over to the left to see if there's any questions that I can bring up for Sacha. Okay. But this is really good. I love this talk. I love these types of talk, even for myself. Like what you're saying, I'm taking it even just for myself, because I literally just moved to a brand new city all by myself. And I'm literally creating, I guess, a new tribe, so to say. It was a big kind of a risky thing that I did, but I really like it. I really like the growth that's happening to me in this city. And it's very interesting how I'm learning how to be intentional with what I do, with what I say, and how I choose to spend my time. So when you say building your environment, it really rings a bell,
Yeah. The intention creates the experience. Actually, Joey, there's nothing more authentic than intention. Nothing more authentic. Because if you think about it, everything that we do has an intention behind it, okay? So, for example, if you think about if I donate $5 to a charity, okay, why am I donating that $5 to a charity? Am I donating that $5 to the charity so that everyone goes, oh, isn't Sacha amazing? Look how generous she is. She only has $10 and she gives $5. Isn't she just an amazing woman? That's about ego. The intention is not right, okay? Mm-hmm. Or my intention is I donate $1 to that charity, but my intention is I really want to make a difference because that's all I've got. But that's so important to me and I can see what I'm doing. Same thing. Now, what happens is that we get caught up in the world and think that the $5 is more valuable. The $5 is not valuable because the $5 has ego behind it. The $1, the intention to make a difference, to support a charity, the intention is there. And so that's why when I look at, for example, what's going on with the election and all of that stuff, what's the intention behind it? And to be really, really honest, I look at it and I go, the intention behind all of it is ego. It's just ego. And really, there's one side of ego to another side of ego. What I want to know is who wants to save the people of America? Who cares about them? Who wants to make, it's not about you getting re-elected and you showing off your ego, all of that sort of stuff. Who cares?
Does the elections in Australia, the American elections, do you guys hear it a lot? Is it just like a constant thing?
Out of control everywhere.
Or is it like just something, just that's over there, it's happening in the other part of the world?
It's big right now. It's big.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we have 24-hour live streaming that you can look at.
Really?
Yeah.
So your regular news media is being, it's like American news media?
Yeah, some of it. No, it's not cut out, but it's a big.
It's so crazy, huh? Just we're in this time right now. It's just.
Yeah, like, and when we look at like with what's happened with coronavirus, we've had lots of corruption within our own country with coronavirus. Lots and lots of corruption. And I just kind of say, I'm really happy to do a lockdown because it's going to save lives and it's going to make a difference. But at the cost of what it's going to do for somebody else's ego and to make somebody else look good, no, I don't want to do it. So that's why intention is everything. Why do you do that? And I try my absolute best to be in the present moment to go, why am I doing that? What is my intention behind it? Because, like I said, if I was, and one of the things, I'm very anti-ego. I'm not into ego at all. I'm about being as real as possible. I just don't, ego just doesn't do it for me. It's boring.
True, it's true. And it's I think it's a waste of energy too. I mean, sometimes when ego gets in the way, you're trying to protect something that maybe doesn't need to be protected, and you waste a lot of energy doing things just to protect your ego or just to protect your pride or something. I find myself sometimes where I'm like about to do something and I'm like, wait a minute, do I really want to waste energy doing this when I can just focusing on what's good and what's giving you life and just kind of feed that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Absolutely. So this, I just don't do that. It's boring. I don't like it. I don't like being around it. Like if you were to be around a group of egotistical people, it's exhausting and it's boring and it's not fun. And you walk away feeling like crap about yourself because you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Like, oh, they're doing much better. They're doing this. They're doing that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not right. And you walk away exhausted because you put yourself down and say, why aren't I as good as everybody else? Whereas realistically, I'm running my own race. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else.
Okay, so we do have a question here. Do you have a channel? Some type of social media?
I do. Well, you can actually look as in like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I'm in it with my business partner and it's Sonia and Sacha. So it's Sonya and AND Sacha SACHA. So you can do that. But I'm not big on YouTube. That's not my thing. I'm probably more Instagram, Snapchat. I'm more on the Facebook, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then there'll be links in the description below after this video.
What do I say? I can show Sacha my plant. I love it. I just think that I'm really passionate about people feeling good about themselves. That's all it is, really.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's pretty basic. And I just think that we need to go back to the basic things in life. Basic. I think that if anything, this coronavirus has taught us, and it's not going to go back down to basic. Like, I'll give you an example, Joey. I've not had a haircut since April until yesterday because it was illegal to get haircuts in Australia. We weren't allowed to get haircuts, right? Oh, do you have any idea how much it felt good? Like I was starting to look like a witch at the end. You know what I mean? Like basic things like getting a haircut made me so happy.
It does, right? There's something about a haircut that just ups your mood. Even me, it ups my mood.
Like, you know, just give me a haircut. Like you weren't allowed to get haircuts, or if you were getting haircuts, you had to do an underground haircut thing, and you know, you weren't like, and you'd see people, you go, your hair's looking good, right? What are you doing? Who you see? You know, and then there's like my husband was a hippie at one point. You know what I mean? Like I said to him, "You look like Black Kenny Rogers," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
any other
I think
questions
that's
here?
really, really important. You know, when we're thinking about all of just kind of, I'm just big on getting to know yourself. Big on that, big. And realizing that everybody has just as much value in this world. Like when I say equality, I really, really mean equality. Like there's nobody better than me and there's nobody worse than me. We're all exactly the same. We all feel the same. We all laugh. We all hurt. We all get sad. We all get excited. We're all happy. You know.
So we got a question from Lee Knight.
Oh, take
Mom, when did you get into this stuff?
Oh, okay. When did I get? When did I get into this stuff? So my mum was always into this stuff, and from a young age, and then I honestly think that from the moment I was, I'd say about 5 or 6, I was really interested in getting to know people. You know, I remember going to kindergarten, and I would really be interested in what makes you think. Like I've always been interested in what makes people think. And then I would always.
That's really cool. Like psychology and stuff? Like
Yeah. Yes, psychology, I think psychology, but what makes you think? You know, what makes you do the things, what's behind your intention all the time? You know, why are you doing the things that you're doing? I love that. You know, and I want to see the realness in someone. I don't want to see I want to know things about you that you don't share with everybody else. And so I've developed a thing where I think, you know, like, I think that this number one thing is do you need 2 things in life, Joey?
yes.
You need number one, you need somebody that you can tell every deep, dark, dirty little secret to, and they will never judge you. And you need to be that person in somebody's life that they can tell you every dark secret to, and you will never tell. So you need to have it, and you need to be it. It doesn't necessarily need to marry, okay? So you can tell me everything, and I'll never tell anyone. I don't need to tell you everything, but you need to be able to download to me. I'm one of these people that everyone tells me their stuff, and I never tell a soul.
So here's something that I see in common. I'm in my circle of friends. I'm usually the motivational, like I'm the person who motivates people.
Yep.
It just comes natural in me, and I do that. And I seen that you also do motivational speaking in your daily life, or you know, do you find yourself? Do you ever? At least this is what I see in myself. Sometimes I want to motivate people who do not want to be motivated, where you see so much potential in them, but they're not going to listen to your motivation. They're not going to listen. It doesn't get to them. Does that ever happen to you? Is that ever frustrating?
Well, I've been doing it enough to know you need to run your own race. So if you're not ready.
Yeah, I'm barely learning that there's some people who are just not ready for that word.
And also know that everybody needs to only get little pieces of information. So you might download the massive amounts of information, but you only need to drop one little key gold piece of information that changes them, that creates a ripple effect. So even anybody who's listening to this conversation, one of the things that I've learned is that nobody's going to walk away from one conversation with me and change everything, but you may change one small aspect. So you may then start to, now from finding this conversation, you might start to then go, I just need to find my tribe. That's all I need to do. That's all I need to do. I don't need to do anything. I just need to focus on finding my tribe and put more energy into finding my tribe. And then if you do that, all of a sudden, the ripple effects of that are huge in your life. But you're going to write a list of 10 things that you need to do. You're not going to do them. It may take you years to tick them off the list. But if you just do one small little jump, then that makes a change. That's all we want to do. So when you see somebody in your life that you feel that you need to motivate them, you just, sometimes it's just by leading from example. Sometimes people will say, oh, I saw what you did, Sasha, and I want to do that. Or you made me want to be myself more. It's not like we've always got to do stuff, Joey. We don't have to do. It's be. It's just be. You know, if all I say to you is take that mask off, Joey, and be who you are. Let the world see you for you. Just be authentic. You don't have to actually go off and do anything differently. You just need to chill out and relax and go, I'm going to ask the question I want to ask, not what I think my audience wants me to ask, or what everybody in my family thinks that I should ask, or whatever it might. I just want to be me. And then you give yourself a sense of freedom. The greatest gift that I ever gave myself, Joey, greatest gift by far, is to not care about what anyone thinks about me. I don't care. Zero. If you like me, you like me. You don't, you don't.
Yeah. I mean, there's
so much.
It's very hard to control what people think about you anyways. Yeah. I mean, it just causes so much worry, anxiety, just unnecessary.
Right. I don't care. And I can say, from somebody who's come from really caring, I'd say that I'm probably about 95% there, because there is that 5% that every now and that when it really matters, you kind of go, what are they going to think of me? And I have to really go, oh, no, I don't care. I don't care. I'm running my own race, you know, so I can understand how people that are consumed by it, especially kids that grow up in a world where their parents are saying to them constantly all the time, you know, well, what would people say if this happened to you? And you can't tell the family this. What would they do? They're being brainwashed. What would people say? What would people say? Whereas I'm completely opposite with the kids. I'm constantly saying to the kids, who gives a shit what anyone thinks? Do you care? Do you care? Do you care what they think? No, we don't, Mum. No, we don't. Do we care? No. Well, what if people say that? They're going to say it anyway, so you might as well go do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as the intention is good and you're there to create good. So not to create bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Good intention, good.
The intention. It's about the intention creates the experience. Don't care about what other people think. It's so free. It's so free to not care. It's the ultimate of freedom.
Like, wow, Mom.
Well, that's because I tell him that all the time. I'm constantly saying, oh, but what? Do you care? No, we don't care. Right, we don't care what they think. So go do it anyway.
Yeah. Very cool. I love this talk. This is really filling, even for me, even for myself, even just listening to you.
I just want everyone to be free. I just want it. Like, I really do. I want everyone to be free, to be who they are, to feel good. Imagine if we all felt free. Imagine if we couldn't, you know, and to not have restrictions on each other. Our world is built on restrictions. You know, whether it's politics, religion, laws. But if we come from the good of being free and caring about other people, it just makes such a big difference. And I notice I'm at the worst of myself when I care what other people think. I become guarded. I become frightened. I don't push myself far enough. So I'm at the worst part of myself. Mm-hmm. I'm at the best part of myself when I'm free and I'm like laughing and I'm happy. I'm at the best part. I want everyone to be at the best part of themselves.
I agree. Guys, any final questions you guys want to ask? Drop it in the chat box below.
I love that you're influencing young people and you're putting these things out there to people. So do what that's why when you're a teenager, you've still got time. Because now, Joey, you've got commitments. You know, like you have to make money. You have to do these things. You have to you have to work and you have to do that. So there's an element where you go, well, I have to get a job and earn that money and maybe do that job because I've got commitments. Whereas if you're a teenager and you're younger, you don't have that. So let's start from the right level.
I see what you mean. So that age is the right level to develop that passion or those skills because it doesn't have that life or that money thing that kind of
or commitment. I mean, I couldn't just run away. I mean, like, you know, I can't run away and do that. I've got kids. I've got commitment. You know, I'm married. Yeah. I can't just go off and go, Well, like I love New York. I love that, I get to work there 4 or 5 times a year and I love it. Ultimately, I'd love to go there, but I've got a commitment, and I can't just ship my whole family over there because I want to live a dream. So I have to then say I have to give that up. But if you're a teenager, probably moving to another country is not the great idea. But if you're a teenager, you kind of go, I can start to set it in place of where I want to go. I go from that ground level. And the point is, statistics actually say that a 18-year-old finishing school, a 17 and 18-year-old finishing school in 2020, in their lifetime will have about 29 jobs in about 7 different industries. So go off and do it all. Go off, do it all.
Finishing school as in finishing high school or like university?
High school. If you're finishing high school in 2020, if you're finishing you'll do about 29 jobs in about 7 different industries.
Oh,
so go off and try it all. And doing things and finding things that you don't like is just as important as finding things that you do like. Right? Because then you never have to do it again. So I love to travel.
So realizing what you don't like makes you more aware of what you do like, and it actually even makes you more appreciative of the good things.
Well, but for example, I love travel, right? So I wanted to get into the travel industry. So I got a job in the travel industry. And then I figured that the people in the travel industry don't necessarily travel. They organise other people to travel. And I was like, well, that sucks. I'm not doing this. I have to figure out another job that allows me to travel.
Interesting. There you go. Yeah, it's
what I mean?
Also very specific too.
Yeah, so you kind of go, well, what allows me to do that? So I then went, I love to talk, I love to motivate, I love to make people feel good, and I love to travel. Right, what job allows me to do all of that? Figure it out. And if it's not out there, we have the capacity to invent it.
You know what's really helped me figure out how to find out what I like and what I don't like is doing journaling, where every day I try to journal and I try to say, oh, this is what I like and I want to repeat this again. This is what I don't like, and I would write it down, and I don't want to repeat this anymore.
Yep.
And when I write it down, I find that I become more intentional of what I want to keep pursuing or keep putting into. Just a side thought that I just thought.
No, absolutely. And everybody does it how they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you need to.
Feeding off of what you're saying on like knowing what you like and what you don't like,
Yeah, absolutely. You need to discover it, look at it and go, well, I didn't like it. Why didn't I like it? So there's always got to be a why behind it. It's not just like, I don't like it. Why don't you like it? But then we also need to make sure that we create a space. So for example, with COVID, I'm an extrovert, so I need people desperately. And I don't like working on an online space like this. I'd much rather be
in person.
I'd much rather have you right in front of my face, right? But if I've learned to like this space because this is all I have right now, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to kind of go, how do I make this work for me? So I'm in a space now where I can't be around people. I love audiences. I love feeding off an audience. So any presentations I'm doing, effectively I'm in my office by myself staring at a screen. And when you're doing a presentation, most likely in an interview I get to speak to somebody, but in a presentation I'm not talking to anybody. It's me talking to a screen, a blank screen with maybe a few dots on it that says a few initials or something like that. And I don't like that space, but I have to then be able to say, I have to learn to like it because this is the only way that I'm getting my soul fed right now. So I have to figure out a way to like it.
Yeah.
I have to be able to, so then I reach out and go, I'm going to make more friends online, or I'm going to express, get to know other people. I'm going to do more things and push myself out of my comfort zone. That's what I'm going to do. It's just all about going, I have to figure it out. Like, honestly, Joey, and please don't anyone think that I've had my life handed to me on a silver platter. That is not at all, because I came back from America on the 1st of February, from New York on the 1st of February.
Of this year?
Yeah, this year. And, I had a calendar full of things that I was doing in my job. And between the 10th and the 13th of March, my career just dropped to zero. And then I've got 2 kids and I was homeschooling them. My oldest one was not that hard to homeschool, but my youngest one, certainly was challenging. And I was stuck at home all the time. And, and then it became winter and it was really cold and, and I literally found myself. And then, I got caught up in that saying, it's only going to be a couple of weeks. How long is this going to last? You'll be out before you know it. And then we went, and then before we know it, we did one whole term of homeschooling. And I was trying to figure that out. Then we had school holidays and that was another lockdown. And then they said, well, you're not going to go back to school at all. And I was like, what? And my jobs are in school. My job is working in school. So as much as I was, homeschooling my kids, my job was at school. So schools were huge. And I kind of went, I need to figure out, I sat in front of the fireplace, staring at the fireplace. My husband said to me, you're a social experiment. Because I was like, you've taken everything away from me, coronavirus. You've taken my life. You've taken my you've taken my income. You've taken my freedom. You've taken my friends. You've taken everything from me. And so I kind of went, oh, my God, does a motivational speaker get unmotivated?
Yeah,
and I went, I'm not going to let this thing defeat me. And so then I started doing things just on Insta Live and connecting with people, or I just start doing little momentum, small little increments of things to make myself happy, to bring something into my life, because I was constantly focusing on my family and I was cooking and cleaning. I was just doing all this stuff. And so I said, I need to do, and then, we picked up a radio show from doing Insta Lives.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, so someone came on and said, oh my God, I love your technique, I love that. And we picked up another radio show. That was really good. Started getting back into the studio and recording the podcast. And I was only able to do it at night once my kids got to sleep. So I was,
And you would do this from home, like from your computer?
Yeah. So I was kind of like, and I was having to figure out technology. I was having to figure different things out. And then the second part from there was I went, right, I need to just start to go back to my schools and say to them, I've come up with some ideas on how we can motivate students. And I'd sit there and I'd go, I've got some ideas. Let's develop, a program. I've got some ideas. And then before you know it, I mean, I'm not, I probably picked up probably 10 or 15% of the work that I would do, but I'm doing something.
So motivating students, what's the strategy for the season?
The strategy for me is momentum.
Yeah, during the time.
Small increments of something every day that is going to get you to a better place. So what is your future self going to be thankful for what you did today? And that might be eating healthy, or that might be connecting with somebody else, or that might be learning a piece of technology or whatever. It doesn't need to be huge. I'm not asking for big changes. I'm asking because we've had a big change. We've had a big change. Coronavirus is a huge change. So we need to then say, what can I do? What can I do for myself today to
so like small changes to improve daily and just work on it.
Sometimes, Joey, that thing might be
very small, like
laughing, connecting with friends and laughing. That's what's teaching myself to be resilient on something. It has to be, don't think that everything has to be huge on a daily basis. Like slowly, it will make a difference in your life or something. And how can you also help somebody else on that path as well? Because I think that we're really put on this earth to do a couple of things: teach, learn, and experience.
Wow, very simple. Teach, learn, and experience.
Yeah. So what can I teach you? What can I learn? And how can I just absorb myself in this experience? And then what can I learn from this experience?
Very cool.
So there's not much else really. Teach, learn, and experience. And so I'm always about what can I teach you? And then what can I learn from you? So it doesn't
exchange between two people,
and
teaching, learning, and then experiencing too also.
So teach. And I also think the saying is give and you shall receive. It's not receive and you shall give. So what can I do for you? What can I do for nothing in return? What can I do for you?
So good. This is so good. This mindset really is
right. I don't want anything
where
else.
it's so easy to talk about, but once you're in it, it just becomes this like positive momentum for us.
Yeah. What can I do for you that you will not give me anything in return? Nothing. I don't expect anything from you. I just want to do something for you because I guess I'm very spiritual because I believe in a universal force. You may not give it back to me, but somebody else will.
It will.
Right?
It will happen.
You know what I mean? So what can I do for you? So if I'm here doing this for you and your listeners, okay, I might not get anything back. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get any, I might not get anything back from it. Or I don't know what I'm going to get back from it, but I'm doing it 100% for you.
Very cool.
You know,
yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? You've just got to trust and put it out there.
True.
Trust and put it out there.
Thank you so much for being on. By the way, this is a good talk. I'm really soaking up what you're saying.
Well, go back and watch it and again, and think about it. So teach, learn, experience, give and you shall receive. Who gives a shit what anyone thinks, Joey?
Yeah, don't care about what people don't care about what people think about you, especially when you do YouTube videos. Wait, what?
Was I allowed to say shit? Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just saying, like, for people who want to do YouTube videos and stuff, a lot of the times they're afraid of what the comments are going to say, hate comments and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I love haters.
It's fun. I love it too.
I love haters. I say bring it on the haters.
Yeah, well, they also kind of teach you. They kind of teach you the way I say it, what you need to improve if there is like a good form of criticism there. But other than that, I think
I just say, come at me, bro. Come at me. Bring it on. Because while you're hating on me, you're teaching me resilience. I'm getting tougher, and you're not hating on somebody else that isn't tough, that can't take it. So bring it on to me.
True. I agree.
And I'm tough.
So no fear of hate, guys. If you're
no fear of hate.
Do not fear. Be yourself and just express yourself on YouTube, wherever, and you will see. Just like Sacha was saying, you will see good things come to you. I believe that good things do come to you when you fully are authentic.
Just be you. Just be you. Be, not do. Be.
Lee Knight says, haters make me improve. Wait, what did he say? Haters make me improve my videos.
That's right. I love it. And just, just do. Just keep on going and doing that.
That's another thing. Sometimes when I always use myself as an example. So I'm an open book, but sometimes when I feel kind of rigid and kind of not, I just start doing stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I just start moving, and just the flow kind of creates this momentum, and it really helps. It really helps to get out of those little slumps once in a while.
And just don't ever be afraid. Like when something, I know, Joey, that there is nothing that I'm afraid of, and life can hand me anything and I'll survive anything. Like there's nothing that I'm afraid of.
There you go. With that mindset, you approach everything with like a good approach. I think that's
actually probably the only thing, and I guess my weak spot is my children, because I love my children more than anything in the world. So if I was going to say I was frightened of anything, it would definitely anything that affects my kids. And that's probably what gets me the maddest. Like when I'm like, don't worry about what anyone thinks. I wish that I could give the insight that I have into my kids, but I know it's taken me 45 years to get that. So I'm constantly trying to put it into them all the time.
And it is there. It's like little seeds, though. You plant little seeds, and then it comes out later on.
Yeah, so like they'll wake up one day and you think, but you plant that in other people as well. You constantly plant it. So I
True.
don't want.
And your friends and the people around you, and then even the people around you plant things in you inside of us.
Yeah, that's why you have to hang out with your tribe, because you want. Whoever's talking about planting on here,
Oh
you want.
yes, the kid who
Yeah,
loves planting. Look how this
yeah,
all
you know
connects.
what
That's
I
cool.
mean. Like by doing that, that's what you have to go back down to the why, right? So when you think about planting, what's your why? Is it to make it grow? So for me, my planting is to watch someone grow. Where you come back and they'll say, "Oh, so you're right, Sasha. I don't care what anyone thinks. I did that, and I'm not interested." And blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, you watch that grow, and it feels good to watch that grow. And I like to do that in people. Someone else might love to do that in plants, but it's the growth, or it's the fact that I'm making a difference. I'm
I,
planting.
I heard this quote where I don't know if this is the exact quote, but it's something along the lines where it's what seeds did I plant today? What are some seeds that I like? Measure your day on how many seeds you planted today
Yeah.
in
Well,
people or in your
I hope,
business or in your life. I think
yeah.
maybe you even shared that quote maybe on your
Did
story.
I? Oh, okay. Do you know
Probably.
what? Maybe you don't know where we're planting today, Joey. You know,
Exactly.
all the stuff that we're doing. And like I said, we're not asking for massive changes. We're just asking for small incremental things in their life. That's all. Small incremental things will make
So
such a big difference.
So, Sasha, what are you working on right now? What projects are you working on? What's on your heart for the next season, for the next few months? What's something that you're really passionate about or pursuing?
Um, well, we've got it. We've been doing a radio show. My business partner and I've been doing a radio show for a couple of months now, and I'm really excited. We've done it only online, so all of my team. I've actually never physically met any of my team.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for things to open up and get back out there to people and see people and be there, and to be able to get into radio and do what I'm doing, but face to face. That's exciting for me.
Cool.
I love that. I'm excited to be able to. We've got the summer coming up, and that means really I don't get to flourish and create things because my children are home from school for the next 2 months. So things are a little bit different, and I don't necessarily work as much during that time because they're at home, and I'm full-time mum. But I also know that I have to do some things on my own, and I'm always working on myself, Joey. I'm always working on myself and what I want to be able to do, and my own free, because I like it or not, I'm a mum. That's my number one job. As much as I work and I do all of that stuff, being with my kids is my number one thing. Number one. And I guess you probably know that, which is how I've met you and all that. My kids are my number one in everything. And that's why I'm really supportive of the work that you're doing with them, because that brings them that ticks off the boxes to believe in what I believe. Find your tribe, do what you like to do, get involved in what you want to do what makes you happy. I'm all about that sort of stuff.
That's very, very cool. And it's really inspiring. I mean, I would never know this because I'm not in your shoes, but I could just see this of how you're able to balance everything out. I mean, just from what
Oh,
you're
it's
saying,
tough.
like you have the radio show, you have all these different things, plus family, plus being a mom and all those things. I always find that really inspiring.
Well, I work, like, for example, I work till most nights, I work till 1 o'clock or something like that. The other night I worked till 4 in the morning and then went to sleep for an hour and then get back up. So I don't sleep a lot because, when my kids go to bed, I tend to sit here in my office and work on some different things. I've been doing a project at the moment. What I'm doing is I'm interviewing a whole lot of young people that have gotten into their chosen careers and how they've done that, and then asking them how COVID's affected their careers that they've been involved in.
Wow.
The reason I'm doing that is because there's a year of young people that would have been able to experience their first job. Like if you think about, they've not been able to do their networking that they would have been able to do. They've not been able to go on job interviews. They've not been able to do anything. So we have this thing called work experience. I'm not sure if you actually have work experience. You have that where during probably when you're about 16, you get to go, you have 2 weeks off school, not in the school holidays, but you actually have to then go off and do something within the workplace. So you have to volunteer.
Like internships and stuff like that?
Stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. So all of that thing has stopped for us. Well, stopped for the world, effectively. And so because of we call it, we have work experience and then we have internships. They're kind of, but the same kind of thing. And so all of the skills that young people would have learned during 2020, getting those skills, they completely don't have them. So I've been creating these interviews, online interviews, where I'm asking young people to teach young people about what they've learned, so that they can so that when lockdown starts to come out, which eventually we'll all start to go back out into the world, that they can kind of pick up some skills from other young people. They're able to give that.
You're like right at the. I could hear my voice. You're like right in the grinding wheel of all this, of like between skills and people and all those things. And I think that's really valuable information, because it's really going to set the tone, I think, for you start opening up and stuff. So that's super interesting.
I think it's transferable skills is probably the most important thing that we can have. So transferable skills are, what have I learned here that I can be able to do over there? So for example, let's say, you want to get involved in the hospitality industry, okay? So the hospitality industry has died big time, people aren't getting out, restaurants haven't been open, more so, for us because of that. Bars and clubs and all of those kind of things that would normally be a young person's first job. Hospitality is a big place where young people first enter employment, okay? They haven't had those opportunities because people aren't going out and working. So in that sense, right, how can you then transfer those skills? So, for example, let's say there's a local cafe that you would have normally got a job at, okay? But you can't get that job because that cafe is maybe doing only, a certain amount of seating and they're not employing staff. But you've learned how to do great TikTok videos. You've learned to do great YouTube clips. You've learned to do, great technology, okay? How can you then go to that cafe and say, listen, I've noticed that you don't have a TikTok account. How about I volunteer my time and come up with some really great TikToks or really great, make some clicks for you to advertise your business. I'll do that for free because I'll do that at a very low rate or whatever it might be. So therefore what you're doing is you're able to then so I'm not getting the skill how to learn to work in the hospitality industry, but I'm giving them another skill that I have. So it's a transferable skill. Then what's happening is now all of a sudden you're making them great TikToks, they're getting more customers, they're using your stuff on their Instagram or their Facebook or whatever they're absolutely doing. You're creating it all. All of a sudden COVID's going to open up. Guess who's going to get the first job to be able to work in the restaurant? You. And now you're doing two things in that restaurant. So your resume has two things on it. You've now done social media, and now you're also able to get that skill within the hospitality industry as well. Yeah. So you now your resume has two fields that you're an expert in, or you've got skills in.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like you can actually then go, right, so once you've done that, you can then go into another field and say, actually, I've got skills in social media and I've also got skills in the hospitality industry. That now gives me two industries that I can now work into instead of just one. But that's about being creative and looking outside the square on how you can actually bring in one skill to another.
And I think that's exactly what's happening, what's going to happen as everything opens up. New skills, new industries, all of that. I mean, everything's been changed. So I think that's really cool, especially for people who are in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And we've got time to do it. So why not? Well, there's my child today. Why not?
Hey.
Yes. Why not? Wants an ice cream for breakfast, right? Why not? You've got nothing else to do. So why not donate your time to the local cafe and see how you can, get them some.
And I find it's a great time for people to help people find their skills, kind of like what you're saying. Help people. You help people with their passion and their motivation and stuff like that. So it's a good time for those middlemen to connect people with other people or connect people with their dream job and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look at that. And also you're getting stop. Right. And
Which is
also
funny because people ask me, am I a teacher? What am I? And I think, I feel like I'm a connector in what I do. I connect different teachers with students and stuff like that. And it's just so cool, like, at least from what I'm experiencing with these courses and these classes and even YouTube and stuff like that, at least on my side. But what were you saying?
No, I just think that what you're like, again, it goes back down to thinking to yourself, how do you, give and you shall receive. So if you go down to a local business and you say, I've got these skills, I'm going to give you this for what? No money. No, I'm not going to charge you for anything. I just want to do it, right? Then you're going to get a great reference for when you go and get a job. And then all of a sudden you're going to get a job and you've got this incredible reference and you've given them all of this extra business, all of this extra publicity because you're really good at editing and filming and doing all of that stuff. You're giving them that. And then when you go for that job in a completely different industry, you've got the cafe, you've got the real estate agent, you've got the fruit and vegetable shop down the road, whatever. You've got all these people giving you great references. That's when you've got to trust in the circle of it.
Mm-hmm. True. So good, Sacha. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being on. You've been on for an hour, literally the longest I've had anyone on, just so you know.
Oh, really? Oh.
Which is great. I just didn't want to stop it. It was good. I hope it didn't bleed into your time or your schedule.
No, not at all.
But any final thing you want to say before we log off here?
I just guess be free, be authentic. Just know that be authentic. That's all I can say.
There you go, guys. Be free, be authentic.
Be authentic. Be you. Be you.
Be yourself.
Don't care what anyone else thinks. Just do and be you and be free and do all that stuff. And that's where the gold is.
Yes, because the world deserves to know who you are. You're a unique person. And I truly think people are unique. And being yourself, you owe it to the world to be yourself, to be unique, and to express that uniqueness in your life, in your career, in your family. The world needs you to be unique. So that's my 2 cents.
100%. Yep.
Piggyback off what you said.
No, I love it.
Well, anyway, Sacha.
Can I just say thank you for being you, because by you being you has made a big difference in my life and my family's life, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. And gratitude. Gratitude is everything. Everything.
That's something I'm working on this past week. I realized, am I grateful? I write it down.
Gratitude is everything, Joey. Everything. I'm grateful for everything. Even the worst parts of my life, I'm grateful for.
Right.
Actually, they're the most things I'm the most grateful for, because I'm grateful for those because they make me strong and nothing can defeat me. Nothing. I'm actually more grateful for that. Yeah. The hard stuff.
They make you who you are. It challenges you, and you have to learn to adapt. And it's just like it takes you to a whole other level. Which is
absolutely grateful for the stuff that sucks in my life, and everyone has lots of stuff that sucks in their life. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't look at it and think, oh, this is my life and my life is falling apart. Let me tell you, everybody's got stuff going on. Nobody has it perfect.
True.
I grew up thinking that everybody else's family was perfect except for mine. And then I slowly that was probably a key for me. I started to then delve into and find out other things about other families. And I'd be like, really? That from the outside, you look like you guys have got it perfect. And then I was like, wow. And I was absorbing and going, I was so concerned about what was going on in my life that once I started to see what was going on in other people's lives, I then went, oh my God, I've got to start to reflect on my own and learn on my own, And I'm a big person on when life gets down. If I'm ever down and things are tough, I'm like, what can I go out and do to make your life better? Because if I'm doing something for you, I'm not focusing on my own crap.
Sure. It's a way to get out of that whole negative downward spiral. It's like, giving and helping people and stuff like that.
Giving, helping, and I'm big on teaching my kids that. Big, huge, because my kids have a very privileged life. And when I mean by privilege, they have whatever they want. Like if they want to do a course with you, they can do it. If they want to do this, and they have a privileged life. So I want to be able to, and I'm not saying that they have everything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, please don't think that.
But I mean, yeah, there's just
that they have a life, and so I'm very big on teaching them gratitude. I'm very big on making sure that they understand that you need to understand. And sometimes I'll learn that, and sometimes they won't. Not a lot, they won't. But and I kind of go, I'm trying my absolute best for you guys to learn this stuff, which is why I'm constantly going out and saying, and trying to teach them about other walks of life. I certainly don't want my kids growing up with overprivileged, people that think that they get everything.
Or different views of different perspectives from around the world. Like just being around different people and stuff like that.
Absorb
cultures.
Absorb it, because the world is so beautiful. Culture is beautiful. I love it.
I find that traveling really opens up your mind. Like being in different places and being like, whoa, this is a different environment. This is a different place. People do things differently than how I do things. And it helps you have an open mind on how people approach problems. And
I desperately love, teaching those sort of things, and really, really knowing that there is nobody above you and there is nobody below you. Nobody. People will see people and think, oh, that person's this, they've got this, that. But no, we're all the same. We are all one. We are one human race. One human race. I just don't get that. One of the things that I struggle with, Joe, is I don't understand how people don't get that. For me, that's like basic information. I just don't get it.
Yeah. That we're all one human race.
I don't get how people don't get that we are all one.
Well, there's just people who they see differences and they feel threatened by it, or they feel like closed-minded about it, I think.
I just don't get that. I just think, now my doorbell's just ringing.
Is it? Are you going to go answer it?
I don't know. Someone's going to get it. I don't know who it is. Someone in red.
Maybe you should go check.
It's a delivery.
Should you go
online shopping? No, my son's actually doing it for me. Online shopping.
Okay. Are you going to go get that or no?
Yeah, I don't know. Hang on 1 second. Do I need to get that? Hang on.
Yeah. So guys, any questions that you guys have for Sacha? I think we're going to close out. This was a great conversation. She's been just motivating, just giving like little talks and stuff. And Mr. White, he's right there. What is up? How are you?
Good. Mom's just
good morning. It's Wednesday, right? Good morning.
I look bad. I'm so sorry. I look so bad right now.
You have bad head.
Yeah, because I've been sick.
So guys, Lee Knight has took over the show. So what's up?
So I've just been watching the live, and it's actually really cool.
Oh, you were listening? I saw you.
I've been watching it I've been watching it here all the time.
Look, it's a phone. We just got like the new.
Oh, the iPhone.
Really? Are you guys doing the unpackaging live? Oh, guys, I am excited for the box.
It's my husband's, so it's his.
Oh, that's sad.
Now the whole family.
I am looking forward to doing the unpackaging. I'm gonna do it live. I'm just gonna
You get your Aussie pack. You get your Aussie pack.
And have me on.
Wait, what?
The Australian foods.
Oh yes, I do. I'm gonna try it too. So
yeah, we'll have to do it on here.
Do it live with me.
Will it come soon? When should
My
I?
kids are all sick. They're all homesick, but they're no COVID. We've been tested and no COVID. Hey,
all right, chill out.
I'm gonna have to go, Joey. But
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
See you, Joey. No worries.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye. I'll end the live right now. See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Guys, that was an amazing live stream. Check out the links in the description below. You can find out more about Sacha there. See you guys later.